let's put tech sales on the side for a second and Microsoft and all that. Let's talk about who you are at a high level. Like, where are you coming from? Like, tell us a little bit more about you as a person.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Definitely, I can do that. Like you said, I'll stay at high level as much as possible. So Bernard Smith from Fort Pierce, Florida. Parents are from Montego Bay, and so, but I'm first generation, right? Growing up in, born and raised in Florida, and um, remember, those times in Florida where, it was tough, right? I grew up in, I would say, humble, right? Knew that I didn't have as much as maybe the kid on the next street, but maybe some of the kids down the street, I had a little more than,
Mm,
and that meant just maybe parents, right, and maybe a roof over our head, and sometimes food to eat, and that was enough, right? And of course, we didn't have computers or TVs or anything like that. We grew up, like I said, very humble, so we didn't have a lot. That being said, the neighborhood that I grew up in, the school that I went to, um, all was not a direct. The people around that neighborhood or around that community,
mm,
there was no role models. I would say to say, hey, you can one day work at Microsoft, or you can one day work at Tech, or you can one day go to college. Nobody was there to really pour into me, except for my parents. Right? They did as much as they could. Because they had to work two jobs, three jobs sometimes just to take care of us in the house. And so, I knew what hard work looked like at a young age because of my parents. Um, I knew that because I saw my parents work very hard, that I needed to maybe do something with my life, right, and to help out my parents.
mm,
And so that was really the start of it all. Seeing my parents work tirelessly every day, and then also understanding my environment that I was in. There wasn't no people that was mentoring or coaching or helping the next young, child in this community, be somebody, right? Because I often say now, and we'll get into that later. Things that I do is exposure, right? And that if you are exposed to, certain people, or you're exposed to certain environments, that could change your way of thinking, and that can also give you the confidence that you need to maybe get where they're at or even higher. And so when I was able to lead that community, I went to John C. Smith University, where I went
mm,
to college at. It's a HBCU, historically black college and university.